All right, and just to save some time here, 7 through 12, we're done in class. I want at least 3 of them filled out, and if you're gonna pick and choose, just leave the ones that we did in class. But I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do one together, and I'm going to choose number 10 to do. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is we are going to add 6 to the other side. So 2t squared plus 16t equals 6. Then I'm going to divide everything by 2 because I want the term in front of my variable that's squared to be 1. So we're going to have t squared plus 8t equals 3. And don't freak out if you have fractions going on. Like if it's like 17 over 2, it'll all work out in the end. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the constant that completes our square. So this is going to be b over 2 squared equals, my b is 8. So this is going to be 8 over 2 squared, which is 4 to the power of 2, which is equal to 16. So this is going to be t squared plus 8t plus 16 equals 3 plus 16. Okay? Then 3 plus 16 is 19. Okay? And on this side, we're going to take what's inside my b over 2, and we're going to make it a binomial. So t, and this is a positive 4 on the inside, so plus 4 squared. I'm then going to take the square root of both sides here. Okay, so let me see here. Oh, there we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the square root of both sides. So t plus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 19. 19's prime. I'm not going to mess with that, but I am going to subtract 4 to the other side. Negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 19. And that's it. It goes the same way for each problem. So step 1 is to make sure that our first term, our leading coefficient is 1. Step 2 is to subtract our original c value to the other side. Step 3 is to complete the square using to add the complete the square constant to both sides. Step 4 is to factor and simplify the right side. And step 5 is to take the square root of both sides and then find your answer. And I wrote that kind of small in the small pen because I wanted to make sure we had enough room there. Go ahead and skip number 13. That is a problem for another day. On this side here, what I want you guys to do is we're just going to determine what we need to use. So for this one here, I would just factor what is in common. Oh, let me use the big pen. I just realized that might be hard to see. So factor, they both have an x, so x plus 7 equals 0. Set each factor to 0. So we're going to have an x equals 0 or x equals negative 7. And that was done with factoring. Okay, this one I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So we're going to solve this one with square roots. X minus 1 equals plus or minus the square root of 35. Like we talked about earlier, you can't really take the square root of 35. It breaks up into 2 primes. But I can add 1 to the other side. So 1 plus or minus the square root of 35. Those are your 2 answers there. Oops. Let me go ahead and make that more of a square. Or sorry, a rectangle. Got my shapes mixed up. This one I'm also going to use square roots to solve. But I'm going to solve this one by adding 225 to the other side, and then I'm going to take the square root and then the square that big, I'm not doing that in my head or writing it out, but I can take a look at my key here. Yes, this should be x equals plus or minus 15. Okay, I won't give you numbers that big on an exam. This last one here, I would probably use completing the square for, or factoring. So let's go ahead and try factoring, and if that doesn't work, then completing the square is our next step. So all these numbers are divisible by 4. That's going to make my life easier, so that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to divide everything by 4. So that's x squared. And I'm going to remember, actually, instead of doing that, let's do it like this. Let's just factor a 4 out. That's more appropriate. And then on the inside here, this should be factorable here. Let's see. So 1 times 3 is 3. And I know that, I can't get a positive 2. We're going to have to complete the square. So I'm going to take this inside bit, and we are going to complete the square. So we have x squared plus 2x plus 3 equals 0. We're going to move the 3 to the other side, so x squared plus 2x equals negative 3. We're going to go ahead and do b over 2 squared. That's going to be 2 over 2 squared, which is 1 squared, which is 1. Okay, I'm going to add 1 to both sides. X squared plus 2x plus 1 equals negative 2. Remember, we're going to use what's on the inside here, so that's going to be x plus 1 squared equals negative 2. Take the square root of both sides. X plus 1 equals plus or minus the square root of negative 2. That's going to be x plus 1 equals plus or minus I square root 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and subtract 1. So this is going to be x equals negative 1 plus or minus square root 2. Okay. This one's quite fun. The area of a triangle is 30. Find the value of x. Well, I know that the area of my triangle equals 1/2 my base times my height. Okay, I know that the area is 30. So we're going to have 30. Oops, let me do this in green here. 30 equals 1/2. My base is x plus 2, and my height is 3x. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and multiply 30 by 2. That's going to be 60 equals x plus 2 times 3x. I'm going to distribute this. I have 60 equals 3x squared plus 6x. And now I'm going to complete the square. So I'm going to rearrange this a little bit, but nothing has changed. And now I'm going to divide everything by 3 to start completing the square. So this is going to be x squared plus 2x equals 20. Then we're going to go ahead and do b over 2 squared, which is 2 over 2 squared, which is 1 squared, which is 1. Okay. Then we can say x squared plus, let's see, where did it go? Oh, here it is. 2x plus 1 equals 20 plus 1. Okay, so this will be x plus 1 squared equals 21. X plus 1 equals plus or minus the square root of 21. X equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 21. And we only want the positive version because this is a real world scenario. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to check Desmos for my solution. So let me check Desmos right now. I'm going to do this on a separate screen, but unfortunately I can't share it. So let's do 30 equals 1/2 x plus 2 times 3x. Oops. And I do get, let's see, this is 1 plus the square root of 25. Oh, sorry, 21, not 25. That is not quite right. I'm going to say, oh, because I'm trying to figure out where I went wrong here. Right here, my friends. -1. Like, I'm getting the opposite numbers. I always forgot my negative. So that should be it there when I plug it back into Desmos. Okay. All right. Now we're going to do our last part here, which is to write this in vertex form and then identify the vertex. So there's a couple ways we could do this. We could do it in the way that we did in chapter 2 by using -b/2a, or we can begin to complete the square. So I'm going to write 0 equals, let's fix this here, 0 equals x squared plus 6x plus 22 is -22 equals x squared plus 6x. We're going to complete the square, which is b/2 squared, okay, which is going to be 6/2 squared, which is 3 squared, and 9. So it's -22 plus 9 equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay. Let us do -22 plus 9 is -13 equals x plus 3 squared. So if 0 equals x plus 3 squared plus 13. And then vertex form, we're just going to replace that f of x back there. So plus 3 squared plus 13. So the vertex is -3, 13. And finding that vertex is from chapter 3, but completing the square is from chapter 2, but completing the square is from chapter 3. Number 20, we're going to skip. We did that during our 2 and 3 project. And that's it. Part 2.